Hey folks, welcome to the Unit 6 Lesson 3 I Do. This is going to be all about organization. We're going to learn about what we're doing on the You Do. So first we're going to read and annotate an article. Then we're going to move the information we annotate into a graphic organizer. And then we're going to answer a prompt in only 2 sentences this time, the full response. Now, our instructional goal is to be able to say at the end of this lesson, I can read and analyze a problem solution text structure, and I can evaluate evidence used to support an argument. So this is really our big focus today, is to evaluate evidence and whether or not it supports a conclusion. So we're going to talk about like what makes a piece of evidence a good piece of evidence. And we're going to do that while we annotate. We're going to read the article on slide 4, annotate it for what the problem solution is and what evidence is provided. Now, last time we were just trying to discover whether it was a problem solution text. This time we know it's a problem solution text, but we're going to sort of look at the information within it and sort of find those key details. So first off, fix that sentence. We're going to look at the first sort of couple paragraphs to figure out what the main problem is, what is the problem, right? So it turns out there were a lot more queens in the first ever giant Asian murder hornet nest found in the US than what they initially discovered. Okay, so the main portion of this sentence, this introductory sentence, is that there were a lot more queens, right? And so that's what I'm going to highlight as our main problem, right? That detail is sort of the main detail here. Okay, so then let's move on to this next section. Now we're going to be looking for problem details, right? We're going to be looking for the smaller things that contribute to why that is a problem. Why is it a problem that there are a lot more queens, right? So researchers approximate nearly 200 queens were produced from that single nest, which is a significant uptick over the 2 queens they originally found. Okay, so the main detail here is that 200 queens were produced from that single nest, right? Because, you know, that is what the main idea within this sentence is, and that's what we're looking for. That's how you find proper evidence, is you're looking for the main idea within any given section, within the paragraph or within the sentence. You're looking for the main idea, and you're trying to sort of find the most important piece of information that's within that section or that sentence, right? So I'm just going to label this problem detail, right? That's all I have to do when I'm annotating these problem solution texts. All right. Each of those queens could have potentially spawned a new nest had they escaped. It's unclear if any other queens managed to get away. So there's sort of 2 things mentioned here, right? Each queen could create a new nest. It's unclear if any other queens managed to get away. So what I think is the main detail, or the bigger problem here, is that it's unclear if any other queens managed to get away. The reason I'm saying this is because we sort of already know that queens can spawn new nests, but the fact that one of them might have escaped is actually really sort of like the scary bit. Like, that's why so many of them is a problem, right? Is because they could have escaped. And so I'm going to comment right here and say this is a problem detail. Okay, so let's read this next one. First discovered in Washington State in December 2019, Asian giant hornets are an invasive species not native to the U.S. They are the world's largest hornet, and they prey on honeybees and other insects. So what in here do you think is a problem detail? What in here makes the fact that there are a lot of queens that could create a lot more nests, and some of them might have escaped, right? We're building this case is that this is a problem, and a major problem. What in here makes them a major problem? Right, so it's that they prey on honeybees and other insects, right? We need honeybees, we need insects. Like, if they were just like out there eating mosquitoes, we don't care, not a problem. But the fact that they prey on honeybees, which is really important for our crops because they carry pollen from one flower to another, that makes them dangerous to us, makes them a problem. So that's our problem detail. Alright, now that we're in the last section here, we know that we're looking for the solution. The solution is almost always at the end, okay, of a problem solution text. Not always, sometimes it's like throughout, but normally it's at the end. So let's look at this and let's look for the solution. And remember, we're looking for that key piece of evidence. We're looking for that thing that is the most important detail, right? Which of those things tells us exactly what the solution is, right? So the researchers believe that there are additional nests in the region. The WDSA will continue tracking and trapping Asian giant hornets for 3 years to ensure the area is free from hornets. Okay, so what detail in here is the solution and is the most important piece of information about that solution? That's our evidence. Great, right. So it's that the WDSA will continue tracking and trapping Asian giant hornets for 3 years, right? It's not really why, we know that they're doing that to ensure that they're hornets. That this is not actually solution, this is just more problem. So this is the piece of the solution that really tells us what is going on, right? So now that we have all this information, what we're going to do is we're going to move it into a graphic organizer to help us organize it and understand it a little better. When we're annotating a text and moving it into a graphic organizer, remember we do it a little bit backwards, right? So when you write your own, you're going to do it forwards. So what does that mean? Well, we're going to start like normal with the problem. What is the problem? Well, if we go back here, click my main problem button. Oh, there's my highlight. There were a lot more queens. All right. A lot more queens than expected. Okay, that's our major problem. Okay, let's look at our first problem detail. 200 queens were produced from that single nest. Now, because this is our piece of evidence, right, that's our most important detail, I'm going to copy that and bring it with me to the graphic organizer. Okay, I'm just going to copy and paste that right in there into this evidence section for the first problem detail. But then I need to summarize that up here in just a couple of words, right? So I'm literally just going to put in 200 queens. Okay, so later when I'm trying to answer my prompt or my question, I can just sort of look at these details real quick and then go, okay, I need that evidence, so I'm going to grab it. Or that's sort of what helps us when we're writing this in lesson 4. You'll kind of do these problem details first because it helps us understand the problem and build the problem, and then we sort of add our evidence as our supports. So we just keep doing this. Problem detail number 2 right here. Let's say queens escaped, question mark, right? It's okay to use questions as your summaries in this portion right here. And finally, they eat honeybees, not the bees. Bees are super important to our ecology, right? Kills bees. Alright, so what is our solution? Right? What is our solution? Alright, so our solution was here. Oops, wrong slide. Our solution was they will track and kill nests for 3 years. Right? That's our solution. Okay, so now we're going to answer a prompt. We're going to answer a prompt on slide 8 into 2 full sentences. Okay, prompt. Do you think the evidence provided in the article supports the conclusion we don't need to worry about murder hornets? Okay, so let's look at that. Do we need to worry about murder hornets? Let's look at our problem details. 200 queens. Queens could have escaped. They killed bees. I think when I look at that information, just those quick snippets, I'm going to say, no, we do need to worry about murder hornets. Okay, So I'm going to start that off by saying no, because we do need to worry about murder hornets. And now I'm going to say, I say this because, and let's look at our evidence. 200 queens were produced from that single nest. It's unclear if any other queens managed to get away, and they prey on honeybees and other insects. I'm going to try and summarize all this information and paraphrase it into one sentence, or the rest of that sentence, right? I say this because a single nest can produce 200 queens, which can escape and start new nests, and they hunt and kill honeybees, which are important. Right? That's a big long sentence to sort of explain and support my answers to this prompt. It's okay to say no to a prompt, but you see how we do that, right? Right? We use this information to answer, and then we use this information, our evidence, to support our answer, right? That's how we use evidence all the time, to support our evidence, support our claims. Okay, so now you're done. Submit your work. Move on to Unit 6, Lesson 3. Sorry, that should say we do. And good job. Keep it up.